Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Aries from Aries Gaming Productions, and today we're going to be taking a look at some Warframe gameplay. Trying to get my new Warframe that I had built, leveled up, and all this sort of stuff. So we're going to try to do that. Um, but I really wanted to talk about the latest discussion on uh, EA and their latest debacle with Star Wars Battlefront. Now, the thing is about this particular situation is that a lot of them didn't think that a lot of people that at least were buying the game were kind of already used to EA's their microtransactions and how they've been trying to figure out a way to incorporate more of that in their business models and try to make as much money as possible. And it's just gotten to the point now where a lot of the gamers think it's really disgusting, and and so it's obviously been kind of a very interesting development going on in the gaming world. And so it's very, very concerning when it happens to these kind of companies that have been taking a lot of money off us. So, I mean, what does this mean for, the type of gaming that we're going to see later on? And I think what we're going to see is that a lot of the gamers in today's world are going to be extremely pissed if we see microtransactions in our games again, because and don't get me wrong, I think there's a vast difference between microtransactions and the loot crate type of game system that a lot of people are starting to go towards, at least for company-wise, or at least they were going towards them. So, what's the main difference? I think the main difference is the enticement versus the gameplay aspect in itself. So the game that we're playing right now, Warframe. Warframe is a game that is completely free to play and gives you rewards based off your skill, and which is not necessarily true all the time, because of course you could just buy everything in the game, but I mean that cost you a lot of money and very little time in actually playing the game to where you wouldn't be able to enjoy it. Everything in the game so far that I've built, and so that's pretty neat, as far as being able to say that, there's a lot of stuff in this game, actually everything in this game, that I've gotten to build myself and that I've crafted myself, and that has just been really, really great. And I mean, it's just been a blast.
You've been seen.
Wow, that was. I'm actually kind of getting used to this Warframe, and I really like that little shock ability. It's like Emperor Palpatine, just unlimited power going on here. Okay, we got some neurodes. I actually need neurodes, but back to my discussion. The type of system that we're seeing from different game developers about how they're just straight up robbing people, really, is just really concerning for the future of a lot of AAA gaming, like developers from EA and from and even recent developments that have had Disney get involved in these events. And so Disney has actually been, actually I think one of their representatives talked to the CEO of EA, and they've had some talks about actually talking about the what the microtransactions have done to the reputation of Star Wars and how it's actually hurt Star Wars. So I mean, a lot of people will think that's very concerning, and I'm one of those people that shares that that thought about the game being very, very heavily pay to win, and it's very concerning to see how this pay to win model would be kind of adapted into a larger portion of the games, even single-player games that really don't require that. And that now that they are starting to require that, it's very concerning from the average gamer perspective. Because imagine you're playing the campaign for Halo, the first Halo, and it says, "Oh man, you don't want just the battle rifle. You want the deluxe battle rifle. You know, you want the battle rifle that's gonna get you through the game quicker. To get that, you're gonna have to pay $5.99." And I mean, there's no one that would be willing, especially back in the days before microtransactions got really big, that anybody would do that. And it's very very concerning to see how that could be taken advantage of for people who either don't have the money to do that and still want to try to get ahead of the competition, and they're willing to spend that type of money on those products. And the game developers go, yeah, well, I mean, it's not really gambling. It's just going to be the type of system where, everybody can, get on the same playing field for an extra $10. And there's something, I think, inherently wrong about that. There's something about the nature of causing someone to have to pay for these things which they don't really want. And that's really concerning in itself, right? I mean, I would think it would be. And not only just the fact that the game developers know, they don't put the stuff in just thinking that, oh, it's a complete accident that we're having these microtransactions in there. No, this is what they sit around in board meetings and they talk about this stuff. And they go, how can we make our profits even greater from just the perspective of, the publishers and the game developers that really want this kind of stuff to happen. And it's one of those things where we're going to have to keep a very close eye on it. And I know that I've talked a little bit about the stuff that Angry Joe's done. There's another YouTuber named Yang Yi who has really done a lot of great videos on the Battlefront dilemma that we've all been kind of exposed to lately. And most of the stuff that he says is like spot on, and I agree with most of the stuff that he's saying. And if you want to get a more kind of in-depth look about what this EA stuff that I mentioned, go look at some of their videos. There's another video of my buddy Mondo from Modification Gaming that we talked about this on Friday, and a lot more stuff has happened since the release of Battlefront 2, especially regarding their decision to cut off microtransactions. And for now, that seems to be the key word that a lot of people are focusing on, is they're cutting off microtransactions right now. And I think that's the part that's getting a lot of people kind of worried, is that, will these companies like EA kind of learn their lesson from being able to kind of maintain their player base that's kind of been loyal to them since Battlefront 1 that got released in 2015. And it seems like a lot of their, even their loyal fan base is kind of having a hard time deciphering what's going on with EA and what kind of business model that they're going to run, after the fact that they've caused this huge debacle with.
Sacrifice.
Oh, okay, here we go. So we've got a new little title for the stuff right here.
The fire spreads.
Mm-hmm.
With these, you may punish our enemies.
Okay, so we've got a relic pack or the Casus blade. Now, I don't know what this Casus blade is. Is that only for... I don't know. Maybe that's just for our Arcwing. But, I mean, that'd still be nice to have. Okay. So we've got that. I kind of want to see what that is real quick. So, let's take a look at that. Display. Where is that at? Where did it go? Goes for the arc wing. Okay, I'm not sure what that was I just got, but it is not appearing anywhere. So and let's change our appearance real quick, because I'm pretty sure I don't have any regalias on here, which is kind of bad. Prestige game with the red veil. Yeah, that's the stuff we want. We want to get more prestige game for the red veil. Okay. So we got that equipped. Ready to go on another mission. And the interesting thing about I know I've been mainly talking about EA for probably a majority of this this live stream, and I don't mean to make it sound that way, but it's one of these developments in kind of the gaming community that's really caused a lot of stir. And even for someone like me, who I really wanted the original Battlefront to succeed in, you know, a really good way, but it's one of those things where I'm not sure whether or not EA is going to learn their lesson from this. I'm pretty sure that, you know, they're going to wait about a week or even a month after the game's release, and then put these microtransactions in there, even after all of their after most of their player base will stop playing the game.
Want to poison the mighty forests of Earth to make more room for themselves.
But I mean, that's a serious possibility that they'll that they won't learn the lesson from this. And
but I am unable to pinpoint their exact
oh goodness, what is?
If you are willing to shoulder the added risk.
Goodness, a side note, I love this shotgun. This shotgun is so good. But the recent developments of the EA have been extremely concerning, just because of the fact that you know, that their lesson that they're going to learn from this game that they released, as far as, you know, Battlefront 2 goes, is that they really didn't have a game plan if this thing backfired. Like, they put most of their effort into making sure that these microtransactions were going to, you know, be a thing for the future, and how to increase their bottom line profit, I guess, so to speak. But this is one of those things where just us as you know, gamers are gonna have to watch out for it, and people who actually enjoy video games, who actually enjoy playing them. I mean, that it's the difference between buying a game and spending only about $60 on it, to buying a game, spending $60, but having to spend an extra 20 to actually fully enjoy the game. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, that's something that I can't afford as a person who's, you know, I'm still doing stuff for like school and college and trying to get through that. And so it's something that I really am kind of watching for with any game that I buy. You know, does this thing have microtransactions? Does you know, is there a way? Oh goodness, what are we doing here?
It is highly explosive. Head to the poison injector now.
Okay, oh, this is our speed thing? I actually haven't seen this thing before. Okay. Okay, well, that was just speed. I'm pretty sure it does... Oh, it's ability duration. I'm pretty sure that causes a lot of that stuff to go on. Okay. Okay. But these games that are getting released by these big companies and stuff are kind of they're becoming more exploitative of the different game developers that are putting this stuff out there. They know. Okay, is this a defense mission? Yes, it is. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Get me out of here. Okay. Oh goodness. Okay. I gotta get back up here. It's funny that some of the Kubrau enemies are actually tougher than the Grenier at this level. Yeah, that so I guess mainly the main point that we take away from a lot of this, the Battlefront stuff, is that it's really kind of a concern when it gets to what actually constitutes, you know, gambling. A lot of people make that argument that, you know, it's not really gambling since I mean they've done a lot of stuff, you know, they're giving you stuff in return for you spending money, so it's not really gambling. Well, yeah, it's the same thing as if, you know, I was talking to my buddy Mondo about this on his stream that we had when we were playing Warframe, and that is
Good work. Get to extraction.
okay, we gotta get distraction. It's be like saying, you know, if it's not gambling, it'd be like saying that a kid that goes to a slot machine, you know, they're not really spending, you know, they're not really gambling if they spend like $50 and we give them, you know, a really nice shiny candy bar at the very end. Well, no, I mean, they've obviously been conned into spending money to get something that they really didn't want. They want the prize for the slot machine, you know, that's what they want. They want to be successful in the game, but they got something that they really didn't really care for. And so, I mean, and I understand that, you know, DLC is a big part of the games now too. Like the game that I'm going to buy DLC for is, I mean, Tekken 7, and probably maybe Injustice. We'll see. Because I've kind of gotten away from Injustice for a little bit. Still a great game. Still probably the best. It's probably the best fully graphicked 2D fighter that we have on the market right now. I don't think anybody would argue that. I think the best 2D fighter out right now is still Guilty Gear XR2. But the type of environment that we're setting ourselves up for as a gaming community, when we say, oh, you know, microtransactions, if we said microtransactions were fine, we would see it in every single game, and game companies wouldn't apologize for it, because they would say, oh, this is what you wanted, guys, you know, we're just giving it to you because we asked you and you said yes. Well, and for a while that's what a lot of gamers did. We kind of went along with this really bad business practice, and kind of did that for, you know, majority of the time that we've been playing these games, probably since, I would argue, 2013. A lot of people, I know what I did for microtransactions. I was a big supporter of microtransactions when it came to Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. I used to buy, you know, these the different races and stuff that you could only buy with microtransactions because it would take too long to earn them in the game. Because it was completely fucking random loot drops, and you know, you might not get a Krogan that you could play on Mass Effect 3 for, you know, 20 hours of playing multiplayer, and then by that time you're probably sick and tired of the multiplayer, because the multiplayer in Mass Effect 3 was just more along the lines of Warframe, but it was just, you could tell it was pay to win. You could tell just by just how the game played, you could tell they wanted you to spend money. And I know the creator of Mass Effect 2 didn't have anything like that in there. And then when EA took over and kind of absorbed BioWare, that's what happened. And it happened with Mass Effect Andromeda, how you could see how BioWare had worked really hard on the new Mass Effect game, and then EA came along and just shit all upon it. And so that was a big deal, for me at least, because I was a humongous Mass Effect Andromeda fan when it first got announced, and then I figured out that they had microtransactions in there, and I knew my experience with microtransactions, and so I knew I was going to get burned, and so I did not support Andromeda when it came out, but I still supported, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 because they were really good games, even though Mass Effect 3 had the microtransactions for them. So, it's not to me, it's not a big deal when it was, kind of first released, because they were kind of experimenting with the microtransactions. They weren't fully like, it wasn't a full-fledged thing at the time, but they still found enough profit to kind of introduce it into more of their games. And over time, as more people supported the games, EA was just really, and not just EA, I mean EA, Activision, and tons of other AAA companies that had been incorporating them into their titles. And I know Activision, I saw this on a report, I think it was from either GameSpot or another YouTuber that I like to look up, and they were talking about how Activision's, I think it was from Yang Yi actually, Yang Yi I believe has another video on this, kind of explaining Activision's business model for upcoming titles, and it was to try and makes sure that the microtransactions model, if they could use it to exploit some of the multiplayer aspects of their game, and to get players to want to buy microtransactions and the best type of guns and the best type of equipment in order to compete with these like MLG pro players. And something about that is just inherently bad, because you're telling people that, oh yeah, you too can be the next MLG superstar if you pay $15, if you pay $20 to get these high-tech guns that you can only get at like level 80, 3rd prestige or something like that. So, I mean, it takes the skill completely out of the game. It takes it right out of the game. And I don't see how you can make an argument against that. I don't see how you can make an argument for EA and for Activision and for other companies that are trying to do that. I know that CD Projekt Red, the guys who had made the Witcher series, were saying that, that there's, especially for their new game, I think they're making Cyberpunk, and they've had to come out and say, hey, we're not putting microtransactions in the game, because they've seen the backlash from EA and what they've gotten. And it's big when a company like Disney has to call one of their big top dogs has to call or talk to the CEO of EA and express their concerns about where the game's going, because Star Wars is kind of their gold child, especially with the movies coming out in December with Episode 8 and the new release of Battlefront 2. So I mean, it's a big concern whenever we have to talk about these things and say that, this might be something that tarnishes Star Wars. I just don't understand how that could happen. Star Wars is almost universally loved, and now it's getting this type of resentment because of companies like EA, and that's really concerning. But I think Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be a turning point for the gaming community, because it's something that we've all had a opportunity to kind of look at, objectively, and kind of see where this kind of stuff is going, and we've pretty much unanimously agreed that this is egregious and it has to stop. And so I'm all for it. If this is something that's going to keep going, as far as microtransactions goes, then I mean, this could really hurt not just business for the gaming industry, but just the gaming industry in general. You'll start to see profits turn down, the quality of games will go down, and it could, if this keeps up, it will be the death of a lot of studios and games that we really love, like DICE could be on the chopping block if Battlefront 2 doesn't do well.
Crucial surveillance data from nearby satellites. Protect them until I complete my task.
But okay, let's see what we got to do here. It's been a while since I've done a Arcwing mission. But the Arcwing missions are also really fun too. Snuck up on me. My goodness. And we're bumping into these little rocks right here too.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
God, they are sneaking up from me from like behind. That's crazy. And this is why, to me, games like Warframe are doing it really well. Is because, you know, nothing is hidden behind a paywall. That's my big thing with the microtransactions type of model, is that if you're going to hide things behind a paywall, like Battlefront 2 did with, or at least they were going to, with things like hiding, you're going to hide Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and Emperor Palpatine off a paywall? I mean, that just seems a little, you know, even people who support the this type of microtransactions and stuff, who don't think it's wrong. I mean, surely they would think something is wrong off of hiding the, like, most important aspects of the original trilogy, which was just the Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I mean, the main character of the of the series for episode 4, 5, and 6, and you're gonna hide them? I mean, it just seems a little, I mean, not a little ridiculous, that seems completely ridiculous. And that just, it seems almost kind of just tainting the aspect that we all go into a Star Wars game for, which was, you know, to play as these iconic heroes. And it's really, it's not the best thing in the world, you know, as far as using microtransactions for like cosmetics and stuff. And that's what microtransactions should be used for. They should be used strictly for cosmetics, and not for you know, the type of paywall that you have to play the game, you know, or you have to get to play the game effectively. Imagine if you played, you know, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, you know, the first Splinter Cell that came out in like PS2, and you know, they basically said, oh, you know, you want to be, you can play as the operator, but you want to play as Sam Fisher, $20, $20 to pay for the skin. Even those microtransactions seem a little, you know, just odd and awful, because Sam Fisher is the main character for the Splinter Cell series. Like, Sam Fisher is like a legend as far as, you know, the Splinter Cell series goes. He's like, he is the main character. Imagine having to pay for him. I mean, no one would buy those games because they'd go, you've locked the main character behind a $20 paywall. Why would I not just play the operator and then hope that you would release it as free DLC later on? Which they wouldn't, because I think that's actually EA and Activision's company as far as the Tom Clancy series goes. But they could very well do that, and no one would be able to stop them, except for gamers who are pissed off. So I mean, the whole thing is just kind of, they've screwed the pooch on Battlefront, definitely.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
Okay, we got our stuff folded up here. It's pretty nice. All right, take that level up.
Finding craft.
Okay, so we got that. I'm still not sure, guys, on how to go in and upgrade my Arcwing, because I've still got like some of like the basic stuff on there. I don't think I've even modded them, or if there's even a way you can mod them. But yeah, these the microtransaction stuff has been just one of those things where it's kind of going in the direction of basically saying that if you want to have the full experience of our games, then there's a price you're gonna have to pay besides the $60. And I don't want to hear, the thing I'm tired of hearing, honestly, is the argument that we have to have these things for to be able to, we have to be able to pay them more to get more out of our games. I don't really want to hear that, because Activision does it every single year with every single Call of Duty they put out. I think Anger Joe talked about how Call of Duty World War II had made more money than Thor Ragnarok and Wonder Woman in their combined, like when both of their debut money making, I guess their marketing, they made that like in no time. Okay, it's scary, and so they did that, and they surely made enough money for another Call of Duty game. I think that was even without the microtransactions, how much money they made. So that's incredible in itself. And that is, that's something to really be kind of concerned about. Let's see what news we got here. Let's see. Celebrating 4 years of Warframe on PlayStation 4. Over the last 4 years, Warframe on PlayStation, you've joined the community of 10 million. Played nearly 1 billion missions and killed. How many enemies is that? Hold on. 107 billion? Holy shit. Sure, thanks for giving gifts to all 10 on PlayStation 4 and right at the first time in your inbox. Oh, that's the stuff we got when Plains of Eidolon, I think, came out. Obsidian or Excalibur stuff, and plus a big appeal for a card market in the market for only 1 credit. A PS4 color picker in the market. However you choose to celebrate, Nintendo, thanks for coming along on the Warframe this adventure through the Origin system. Okay, I like that. That's nice. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, this type of egregious stuff that's going on with gaming right now is just it's making me not want to buy AAA games, and that I think is the real problem. I want to support AAA games, but if they're not going to have that type of at least the type of mindset that I think they should have, which is don't lock stuff behind a paywall. Give us a game that's, innovative and makes us want to buy your game versus your competitors. And that's why, if you're going to charge $60 a full price for a game, then you have to bring your A game with it. You can't just say that we're going to do a 10-year plan, and each part of that 10-year plan will cost you $30 extra, or we're gonna go with this games as functions, or however the CEO of EA put it. He viewed games as games as services. That's what he said. Games as services. So not even games as just video games. He views games as a service of a business, and it's not about entertainment. It's about business profits. And so, I mean, is that what we're really wanting as people who enjoy playing video games? Like, I enjoy playing video games a hell of a lot, and if this is all we're going to get for a $60 price, like No Man's Sky, how it was the biggest letdown of, in my opinion, it's probably the biggest letdown of 2016, and there's something wrong with that. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. And I know my buddy Mondo is all about, respecting, he likes to respect a lot of people's opinions on this matter and stuff like that, and he thinks that everybody's got an opinion on it. Yeah, you can have an opinion on it, that just doesn't mean it's a stupid-ass opinion. I mean, if you're going to support the type of microtransactions that we're seeing, you're going to have to dig deep and find some good arguments towards, supporting these type of things, because it's a humongous problem with that. So, but yeah, I'm gonna probably end up stopping the game right here. But just let me know what you think about the comment section below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And again, do you agree with me that that EA has kind of poisoned the well of gaming? Do you think that microtransactions will appear in still more AAA games? And let me know your reasonings why, because I'm interested in them. Alright, well, guys, thanks for watching, and this has been Aries from Aries Game Productions, and I'll see you guys next time.